What we doing, Samson? What we doing? It is bright and early, and we have Olympia up on the screen. What is up, people? Welcome back to the channel. What you can hear in the background is Olympia. So it is currently 7 a.m. I've been awake since 5:30 watching this. I watched the last hour and a half in bed, admittedly. I just woke up, got the end of bikini. Not that I'm really interested in that, but I just, the last 2 mornings, because Olympia's been on, I've been like kind of a bit paranoid that I'm gonna miss like the open. Miss the open as well as the 212. So like I haven't been sleeping well, which is kind of pathetic when you think about it. But yeah, so got the end of bikini, got the confirmation rounds for open balance bodybuilding. I think Andrew could be either 1 or 2. Honestly, I love his physique. Obviously, by the time this video comes out, it is you're gonna know the result. But he's looking like he could be good for 1 or 2 right now. He's bigger than Samson. He is leaner, fuller than Samson. He's just more physically imposing than Hadi and Derek. He definitely gives up on the side shots, right? But you know, if you look at his fucking front lat spread, front double bicep, even his back poses, like just his structure, like is just so dominating. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if he came either first or second today. And then I think we have the classic physique is coming up to. I got my shower done. I fucking got myself ready for the day as men's physique was on, because I couldn't give a fuck about men's physique. I think it's such a lame class to watch. Respect if you do it, but it's a boring class to watch, right? Anyway, today obviously starting off with Olympia. Have to go collect Emma from the airport. Then we're gonna go train in the afternoon. Today's gonna be a leg day. Gonna bring you through the whole day, of course, as per usual. Vlog it. But yeah, starting off with some bodybuilding, starting off with some coffee, and yeah, it's gonna be a pretty damn good day. Wow. A lot of people did not expect Ramon to win this. So Ramon has came second to Chris for so many years. He came third last year and Mike beat him. Mike came second, and Mike, like everybody this year is like, Mike is gonna take the throne because he's the only person who got like poses or points off Sebum in last year's Olympia. But like Ramon looks savage this year, and like obviously he looks savage this year because he just fucking won. But yeah, it's kind of looking at him during like the confirmation rounds, and even like when I was watching pre-judging yesterday, I was saying his physique's improved massively, because usually his arms were like his like really dominating body part, but he just brought everything up, and he has just a beautiful package. Yeah, delighted for him. All right, here we go. Routines are done, confirmation round is meant to be done, but they're needing to do another one because it's just that close. Like, my eyes are drawn to Andrew. Look how big he is. God damn. Side poses are weak. But like even here, right, Derek's pose is meant to be the back double bicep. But when Andrew Jack gets into it, it doesn't really show it. Even look at the rear lat spread here. Look how wide he is. Where is Samson coming, eh? Right, they're gonna do 4th place here. Yeah, called it. You have disappointed us. Numero 3. Honestly, thought you would have been closer to second than third. That just means it's either Hadi or Derek. And there we have it, Olympia done for another year. Just getting some steps in before head off to the airport. But yeah, you know, I never used to be a massive fan of like the untested bodybuilding, and for kind of like strange reasoning, I guess, right? So I guess part of the reason why I decided to stay natural was I could just never really see it possible for me, like taking it to the top of bodybuilding. And I do think you kind of know in your first few years of training where, you know, getting to that level will be for you. You know, you're the type of person who just seems to grow when you look at weights, or, you know, your first few years of training, people are already like, are you on gear? And you know, that wasn't me. So because I didn't really see it to be achievable, I was like, why would I bother watching it? But at the end of the day, you know, I like bodybuilding, right? I like watching big muscly men pose on stage, and whether that's tested, untested, like I appreciate the sport, I appreciate the art, and the Olympia is the highest level, right? Like regardless of whether, you know, you have an opinion of these guys are, you know, riddling themselves with drugs or, you know, impacting their health. Number one, you know, they're doing it for sport. If you ask any MMA fighter going into the cage, are they concerned about their health? Or are they doing this for healthfulness? If you ask any, like, you know, top Olympian who's in their final few weeks of prep, are they doing that for health? They're probably going to say no. Sport and pursuing longevity, they're different goals, believe it or not. And of course, is there a higher risk when you're taking PEDs? Absolutely. But, you know, at that level, it's calculated, and especially at that level, it's like, yeah, you know what, maybe that risk is worth it, because, you know, you're going to become like the best ever to do a specific discipline. And for some people, that's going to be more worthwhile than maybe an extra 5 years on their life. But I definitely have like a new like level of appreciation for the untested side of sport since going to Canada. So I was in Canada there 2 years ago now, wild, and training Pure Muscle Fitness, and seeing these guys in person, seeing them in the flesh up close, you really realize, like, wow, like how far the human body can go, and like how big it can get, like how lean it can get, is absolutely wild. And one thing that I think is important for all bodybuilders to understand, you know, is whether you're tested or untested, we have more in common than we do to the person who doesn't do bodybuilding, who doesn't live this lifestyle. Like, we all like the exact same thing. We love training, we love the sport of bodybuilding, we like the structure it gives to our lives, you like the kind of discipline aspect to it, like the feeling of like mastery over your body, your habits. And it's something that a lot of people simply can't relate to other than other bodybuilders. So whether you're tested, untested, you know, we're all united. As cringy as that sounds, right? We're all pretty much the same. Just one of us has decided to, you know, take an extra risk, maybe a little bit less risk averse, and that's completely cool. You know, my kind of thoughts on people going on gear is like, if, you know, it's worthwhile for you, like if you can take it to the top, like if that's in your destiny, pursue it. If you're somebody who's maybe in your first few years of training, and, you know, you're starting to see like you look 10 times better than everybody else in the gym, you know, by a long shot, people are telling you should compete, people are questioning already if you're on gear, yeah, probably it's in the cards for you. But if you're somebody who is, you know, you've been training a good few years, you don't really look like you've been training for a good few years, your habits and everything like that are all over the place too, your mental health is not in a good place, you don't have a good support system, you're doing it for reasons to prove yourself to other people, like it's not coming from a good place, the decision to actually go on, then yeah, definitely don't do it. If you're doing shows already, you're competing bodybuilding already, and you are like not even coming into first call outs, it's not in the cards for you. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but bodybuilding is very much genetically determined of how well you do, and you deciding to go on stuff,
when, you know, there's just, like, it's just risk that you're taking. There's no reward really. You might get extra clout, you might get like extra people looking at you, but ultimately at the end of the day, you know, that's all you're going to get. You know, you're probably not going to take it very far in the actual sport itself. And if you're doing it for the sport, you know, then that's like, ultimately, I don't see the point in taking gear if you're not doing the sport. Like, if you're taking gear just for the sake of like socially doing it, I think that's a bad approach. You know, because again, there's no reward to it. It's only risk, and at some point you're gonna have to downsize and face the reality of coming off. You know, when some people say, look, everybody takes drugs, whether that's drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, taking recreational drugs at the weekend, so why not let people do what they want? And like, people can do what they want at the end of the day, but I do think, you know, people's reasonings for hopping on the sauce outside of sport is, you know, you have to, again, question why you're doing it, because it is something that you are taking in not just maybe one type of pharmaceutical or one type of agent, likely taking multiple of them. And again, there's a lot more kind of health monitoring that you need to do, or more considerations you need to long term in regards to how that can impact things like fertility. If longevity is something that you care about, it's also something you need to think of, because again, you can have increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Certain gear usage is going to be very neurotoxic as well, which can affect your brain massively, like the likes of tren. And you know, if it's coming from a place of, well, I just want to look better, I want to you know, have more confidence, that's not the way to go. In my opinion, I think that type of stuff is probably some deeper work that you need to do on yourself, and maybe going to therapy, and you know, maybe seeing if there's like body image issues that you have, or what's the actual reason that you don't feel confident, because there's plenty of people out there who are not in great shape and feel extremely confident. So it's confidence. It's wanting to look better. There's only so good you need to look. You know, I think a lot of people, especially guys, right, when they're going to the gym, they think the bigger the better, right? They think the more jacked they get, the leaner they get, the more female attention they get. And let me tell you, buddy, I get fuck all extra female attention other than Emma, but most of my DMs are full of guys telling me that I look great, you know. So, and then when you push it too far in the muscularity perspective, or too far in the leanness perspective, and if you get sides as well, well then, you know, that definitely is not the thing that females are looking for, believe me. So yeah, look, they're just some of my perspectives. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, it doesn't really matter. We're all entitled to our own opinions, but yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm still a natty little fuck. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna get back to the house. We're gonna prep some meals, then we're off to the airport. No time for pancakes this morning, as I need to leave in the next 10 minutes. So just having a bagel with 4 bacon medallions, tomatoes, mushrooms, 2 eggs, overcooked eggs at that. And then I have another bagel, which we're gonna have with some peanut butter and raspberry jam, other one with a bit of honey, and just because I am going to be missing out on some carbs that I would have gotten from the likes of my pancakes. So yeah, this is flexible dieting. You just adjust your food to your needs, but you still keep the overall structure. You know, I'm still having bacon, eggs, still keeping my protein high, but yeah, just kind of suit it to my schedule essentially.
Just getting all the photo shoots.
Alright, we are back from the gym, recording on the iPhone, just like the old days. So it's 4 p.m, have some whey sludge, my protein, 125 grams of Cocoa Pops, some honey and some salt, because I was sweaty as fuck during that session. And then we also have some tortitas arroz, chocolate rice cakes. And that is post-workout.
Alright, that is post-workout in fucking wrecked after that leg session. You know, I've been kind of itching to give deadlifts a go again for a while, and I was just looking through the likes of my logbook, and I could see that I haven't really progressed my RDLs in a long time. Since I went to Ibiza like the start of August, like from then my RDLs have just kind of went down. So my kind of best RDLs were like 225 for 5, I believe, and then it just kept going down. I was like reducing the load because it's like, I don't feel like I'm able to maintain my form, right? So it's reducing the load just due to that. I didn't feel like I was able to actually perform the exercise the way it's intended without just having too much like form breakdown of my spine. So stripping the load back, and then this last few weeks, like even just doing 210 kilos, right? 210, 7 reps. That's been what I've hit the last 3 weeks. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even enjoying kind of coming into the session and doing the RDLs now. And like I've talked about this a few times on the channel, where you know it is important that like enjoyment is factored into the program, but also the fact that like you don't want to change things just for the sake of changing them, because like you know you got like 2-3 weeks into a program, 2-3-4 weeks into a program, and you're like, I just want to change this, you know, you're bored of it. But you could not have even kind of tapped the surface of how much progression you could get from it. I feel like I've gotten as much from the RDL as I can because I've been running it for like week after week since April. So, and then like, obviously, you know, seeing that decrease in performance over time, despite my recovery being good, you know, I'm eating far more food now than I was in August. Body weight has come on a tiny bit, not by a huge stretch or anything like that, but you know, performance decreasing, but my recovery is good, and it's a consistent team. It could just be a case of kind of like done all I can to increase my strength on this specific lift for now, and just by rotating in something that's pretty much the exact same movement, just from the floor. Of course, the likes of the conventional deadlift, there is less tension really on the likes of the glutes and hamstrings as you get to the bottom, especially because the knees start to move forward, and that does start to shift away some of the tension from the likes of the hamstrings and glutes. Relative to the RDL, where you're keeping your knee angle or your shin angle pretty much the exact same throughout the lift, and your knees don't really travel forward all that much, and of course the bar doesn't touch off the floor, so you continue to have that like tension during the lift versus a break in the tension with the bar touching the floor. So it's a pretty similar movement. And then I did the likes of the stiff legs after, because I did want to at least have one exercise there, or one set where I was actually getting a little bit more kind of stimulation through the likes of the glutes and hamstrings when they are in the more kind of lengthy position, where I had my hips a little bit higher than I would have in the likes of the regular deadlift. So yeah, I just wanted to put it in, just again for the sake of novelty, and realistically I'm gonna run that like 2-set approach now, 1 set of deadlifts, 1 set of stiff legs for the foreseeable, up until I reach like a pretty strong plateau. I'd love to get the deadlifts up to maybe 250 or so for 6 beltless. That's pretty ambitious. It's pretty damn ambitious, but you know we'll work towards it. Anyway, so cleared back from the gym. See, I have my new headphones. I had to get these when I was getting the decks, and I'm quite happy that I got a pair of over the head earphones, because I don't have any. I have AirPods, but you know, I like to preserve the battery in them sometimes. And now I'm just about to, number 1, do my check-in for AJ for tomorrow. He's actually coming to Marbella this week, so I might actually get a chance to meet up with him for a training session, which would be pretty damn cool. So fill out my check-in for AJ, just review the week, how everything's gone. Body weight is all logged, food is all logged. Body weight and food, I log them every single day, and then at the end of the week I fill out my check-in form. This is the exact same way I get all my clients to check in with me. They fill out all their kind of their day-to-day data, and at the end of the week they give me a summary of how things are going. So submit that so it's ready for him in the morning, because submitting your check-in with your coach on time is important. You're upholding a standard for yourself. You're doing the check-in for you, really. It's not for the coach, you know. That's one thing I always tell my clients. You're not checking in for me, you're checking in for you. So, you know, uphold that standard for yourself, stay accountable with it. And then I have a bit of content to make. I have been in this like content not limbo, but dissatisfaction for the longest time. But, you know, I have a lot of ideas here. So now what I'm going to commit to is just writing out the scripts, and I might get like 1 to 2 finalized. When it does come to like setting tasks like this where I have a little bit of inertia, I will usually try to break it down into small particles and like undercommit. But typically once I get into a flow, I will then start to do a little bit more. So it's kind of like a way of like tricking myself, even though I kind of subconsciously know about to trick myself. It always works. So undercommit to the task. Say I'm just going to write the outlines or write the scripts, and then all of a sudden by the end of this work block I'm going to have all the posts on. So that's my typical strategy. And yeah, the headphones, for me, if I'm doing any work like this, I need to listen to music. So I'll just throw in a mix here for about 2 hours, and yeah, I'll just be able to get myself into that zone. So that's what I'm going to do. And then what I'll do is we have a walk to go on later, and then dinner. It's fucking Groundhog Day. Life with me is not all that interesting, but this is the life of somebody who is pursuing a bodybuilding goal. It's pretty repeatable. Alright, let's get to work. Stress? Video didn't export. Oh, look what we have here. So yeah, we are going to cap off the video here. Didn't record my dinner, didn't record my walk. I'm sure you are all fucking devastated to miss out on that. But we chat no shite today. So leave the video there. If you have been enjoying it, if you want to see more behind the scenes of how Samson goes about his day, annoying me, then make sure to subscribe, and subscribe to Emma as well, if she ever gets this YouTube video to export. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.